There's 2.4 million people who live in Las Vegas. And if you think about the valley as being divided into quadrants, about 600,000 people live in each of the quadrants. The southwest, 600,000 people, 13 townhomes. What's going on in the condo and townhome space in Las Vegas real estate? Well, let's find out. I'm Justin Miller, principal and co-founder at the Chong Miller Group. At the Chong Miller Group, we help people build wealth through real estate. We help people buy and sell homes, including condos and townhomes. So every month I do a market update video for single family houses, which I release on about the 8th of the month, and for condos and townhomes, which I release on about the 15th of each month. The data is pulled for both those videos on the 7th of each month from the multiple listing service, as well as a few other data sets about macroeconomic conditions and about the real estate industry here in the Las Vegas Valley. So I put these together so that you have good information to understand what's literally taking place in the market, as opposed to what some talking head commentariat member has decided they want to sell you so that you click on their advertisers and they make more money or something like that. This is the actual data, the data that come from what's really taking place here in the Las Vegas Valley, with analysis that is very high end, both macro and micro views of what's taking place. So let's go ahead and dive right in. First, I look at condos, then I look at townhomes. So condos first, and if you have not already, please subscribe, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, and share these videos with your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues, your family members, anyone you think might benefit by having an accurate understanding of what's really taking place in the real estate market. Okay, condo prices. You may remember in the March update that condo prices had dipped a little bit. I'd suggested that that was aberrant based on a couple transactions probably moving to close a little early or a little bit late, and that we would see a correction this month. This month being April, so this is the May 2024 market update. We look at the actual data from the prior month, so this is data from April of 2024. Month-on-month comparisons, March to April, and year-on-year comparisons, April 23 to April 24. So prices did, in fact, rebound. In fact, they did more than just rebound. Median sale price on condos in April 2024 here in the Las Vegas Valley, $248,300. This was up $7,300 from $241, or 3.0% higher than what we had seen in March. By the way, this number is interestingly only 1,700 below the peak price that we had seen in May of 2022. So we've recovered almost 100% of the drawdown that we had seen in prices in the second half of 2022. We've recovered almost all of that. We are right there at the peak price that we had seen back in May, actually 2 years ago now. Okay, so we're up 3.0% month on month. We're up 10.6% year on year from 224,500 that we saw in April of 2023. Now that 10.6% increase, that compares to an increase of 8.8% year over year for single family homes. So once again, we're seeing condo prices appreciating more rapidly than what we're seeing with the majority of the marketplace. Approximately 85% of the overall market for real estate in Las Vegas is single family homes. So that market had been up 8.8% year on year, and we are up 10.6% year on year for condos. So interesting information with regard to pricing, but did anything actually sell, or was this just one unit that sold at this price? Well, let's dive into the demand and supply numbers. So demand first, we look at demand in two ways. We look at both number of sold units and we look at pending contracts. That's contracts that have been written but have not yet closed. So on the sold side, 368 condos sold, closed in April of 2024. That is up 10.5% from 333 that closed in March of 2024. It is also up 34.7% from the 273 that sold last year, right? So thinking about seasonal patterns, we get the same seasonal patterns year on year, except actually the last few years have had very awkward patterns because of closed pandemic, because of growth off the pandemic, because of very high increasing interest rates. So we're in a more stable kind of environment now. So take year-on-year comparisons with a grain of salt. But what we're seeing is actually growth in demand. We're seeing that demand was up 10.5% month on month, as well as being up 34.7% year on year. The other means of looking at demand, as I said, is pending contracts. Buyer and seller negotiate into a contract for the purchase of a particular property. That contract has not yet closed, and so it's both a demand indicator and it's also a forward-looking indicator about what we might expect to see closing in the following month. So 395 pending contracts written in the course of April 2024. That is up 5.3% from 375 that were written in March. And it is up 16.9% from 338 that had been written in April of 2024. So really good. These are higher, and 395 pending as opposed to 368 sold. That actually means that we're growing the size of the market and can expect better sales figures, sold numbers, for May than even what we saw in April. So this is really good. Interestingly, the sold number, this is the highest that we've seen since June of 2022. You'll remember last year, I had commented, was the slowest sales volume month here in the Las Vegas Valley in a generation. So we had incredibly low numbers for sales volume across all market segments throughout 2023. Well, we now are sitting higher than any of the months of 2023, which is really great news. We're the highest since June of 2022. Okay, so that's demand. If that's what demand looks like, what is supply looking like, right? If we've got increasing sales transactions, that means there's more demand. That suggests there must be more supply in the market as well. More condos on which buyers can actually write an offer, one would think. In fact, we would also expect seasonally, this time of year, we've got a lot of new inventory and existing inventory sitting in the market for that proverbial spring selling season. Well, we had 947 condos sitting in inventory at the end of April 2024. That number is down. Not down a lot, but it's down 1.4% from the 960 they had been sitting in inventory at the end of March. That's the big headline. It's down. We should be seeing big increases in this number at this time according to normal seasonal patterns. Now we are up 11.4% year on year from the very low 850 that we saw last year. But again, remember last year we were just plumbing the depths of transaction volume. Well, this year we're still plumbing the depths on inventory, very low inventory, very weak. And by the way, in the condo space, this represents actually about 3 months of supply. So maybe about half of what we might consider a balanced market. So that's it, half of the normal that we would see here. So the other supply measure is newly listed resale condos. So how did that look? 556 newly listed resale condos in the Las Vegas Valley in April of 2024. Again, it's down counter seasonally. It's down, not a lot. It's down 2 units or 0.04% from the 558 that came into the market in March. And this is why we're seeing inventory going down, right? We've got sales going up. We've got very little new coming into the market, and that's pulling inventory down, right? The supply is literally being eaten. And so we need to get new listings into this market. Otherwise, we're going to run out of things to sell. This is new listings up 34.6% from the 413 newly listed that we saw last year. Again, take all of last year's numbers with this big grain of salt, because last year was such a small volume year because of already low inventory, increasing and high interest rates. And as to those interest rates, let me just comment. During the course of April 2024, interest rates were above 7.0% the entire month for 30-year fixed rate loans, mortgage loans, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. We ended the month at 7.29%. So we had not only been above 7, we were increasing mortgage interest rates all month long. And we still got increasing prices and increasing transactions, meaning demand. Why? Because we were seeing inventory go down. And by the way, you don't get increased transactions and increased prices at the same time unless there's solid demand. So there is absolutely solid demand in this marketplace. Now, one other condo statistic that is back on market, something I've been looking at for the past 4.5 years. Back on market are failed contracts. That means some buyer and some seller negotiated a contract, went into a pending status, opened an escrow account, and started to go through the purchase process. But instead of reaching the end with a happy buyer having bought a condo and a happy seller having sold a condo, the transaction collapses, the escrow fails, the pending contract goes away, and most, not all, but most of those go back on market, most of those condos. 160 back on market this past month in April 2024. That's 30.3% of all of the condo contracts that were written. They're incredibly high numbers. Normal 10 to 12%. For the past 4.5 years, we've been incredibly high on back on market numbers. We're literally at 3 times what we should be. If you're talking to an agent, make sure they're explaining to you why. Ask them why, because they should have a theory about what's going on. They should be able to explain to you what's going on, and they should be able to explain to you what they're going to do to help you make sure you're not involved in a failed transaction, a back on market statistic. If they can't give you a satisfactory answer and about what's causing it and about what they're going to do about it, go talk to another real estate agent. Talk to us. We help our clients all the time through these kinds of issues. We get most all of our clients through the process, right? There's always a few transactions that may not work for various reasons that historically have caused back on markets to be in that 10 to 12% range. But we're not seeing elevated contract failure problems at the Chong Miller Group. We're mitigating almost all of the potentially challenged contracts by being strategic in the advice we're giving to our clients and the advice we're getting our clients to follow. Okay, so let's move on to townhomes. Before I do, again, I'm Justin Miller with the Chong Miller Group. Please smash the like button, hit the notification bell, and share these videos with your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues, your family members, and anyone else who you know should probably be working in this environment with better understanding about what's going on so that they are better prepared to engage in the transactions that they want to. All right. At the end of April 2024, $345,000. This is up. It's up 3.9%, a very strong $13,000 increase from $332,000 at the end of March. We are on the townhome space $10,000 below the previous peak, which had been $355,000. Right, so we've got a little more room to run up, but we've actually just broken out of the channel that we had seen townhome prices in over this past 12 months, where we were sort of hovering between 305 and 327, bouncing up and down in that. Well, at 345, we clearly have broken out of that channel. It remains to be seen if this is a permanent move or just an expansion of that channel. I suggest we're actually starting to see prices pushing higher across the entire real estate market here in the Las Vegas Valley. We are up from $315,000 or 9.5% year on year for townhomes. Remember, we were up 8.8% for single family homes. We're up 10.6% for condos. We are up 9.5% for townhomes. If you've been listening to the commentary out there talking about how the industry is collapsing, no one will be able to buy homes, no one will be able to own homes, clearly they've been wrong. If you've been listening to them waiting for your opportunity to pounce when everything has fallen and collapsed and turned into a real shit show, it didn't happen. It wasn't going to happen. It's not going to happen. If you want to own something, you've got to commit to doing the hard work to actually owning something. Real estate is not a get rich quick kind of thing, but it absolutely builds your wealth over time. In fact, doing a little bit of research, I'll do a video on all the statistics, but over the period of time, January 2020, so just before the pandemic shutdown, through the end of April of 2024, so 4.25 years. Now that included the drawdown during the pandemic, particularly effective or impactful in the multifamily space because there were stay-at-home orders that meant that gyms and pools and things like that in multifamily housing were all closed, right? And so single-family houses initially went down a little bit. Condos and townhome prices went down further. So January of 2020, then prices went down. Prices went back up. We hit the peak in May of 2022. Prices went down. Prices have come back up, even though we've not gotten back to that peak. Townhome prices over that 4.25 year period of time are up 63% at the median here in the Las Vegas Valley. That's after accounting for all those drawdowns, right? If you bought a townhome in January of 2020, you're up 63%. If it was the median townhome and you maintained it at a median level. You're making a lot of really good money, right? And you probably lived in it, which means you were not paying rent. So yeah, sure, you're paying a mortgage probably because most people buy properties with mortgages, but you were building equity in that property. Your mortgage did not go up during that period of time. You did not have a rent call where a landlord said, oh, we're increasing your rent, or where an owner called and said, you're going to have to move because we're selling the place. You own the place. You can maintain it, you can paint it, you can put in the upgrades that you might want to put in, right? And as long as you maintained it at the median level, 63% gain. Pretty good, right? Prices going higher. And that should continue. There's no reason to think that that's going to reverse. In fact, historically, that doesn't reverse. Yes, of course, in 2006 to 2012, we had a housing crisis here in Las Vegas. That's a one-time thing, right? That's a very rare event. And by the way, prices went down during that time, an amount that is less than what they've now gone up during this past 4.25 years. Don't listen to people who are giving you really bad advice. Don't listen to people who are trying to sell you advice, whether they're trying to charge you for it or they're trying to charge you for it in more surreptitious ways, like you'll click and use their advertisers or you'll do something else for them, right? Pay attention to people who are actually market participants who are out here every single day knowing what's actually taking place, because we deal with these issues day in and day out. Okay, so what about number of transactions? Transactions were sold in the Las Vegas Valley for townhomes during the course of April 2024, 197. Now that is down. It's down 4 townhomes or 2.0% from the 201 that sold in March of 2024. And I'll just comment really quickly. We dropped by 4 townhomes, which was 2.0%. Right? Each townhome is 0.5% of the entire market. The townhome market space is very small. And the townhome market space is a little more than half, sort of 65% of the size of the condo space. And the condo space is itself relatively small to the single family home space. So with regard to townhomes, you need to take all the numbers with a little bit of an understanding that there's some higher variability, greater fluctuation in these numbers and the statistical calculations than might be in a larger market because of the small numbers that are involved. Anyhow, sales down 4 units or 2.0% from what they've been the prior month. They are down 14.0% from the 229 that had sold in April of 2023. Again, year-on-year comparisons, same note as with regard to condos. However, pending the other demand measure, pending townhome sales went from increased from 226 in March to 241 in April. That's an increase of 6.6%. They increased 2.1% from the 236 in April of 23 to 241 in April of 24. Pendings are above sold. That's great news looking forward because that indicates more contracts to close in May than actually closed in April. This number is still low. It is seasonally weak. We would expect to see more growth here. But remember, interpret these within the framework of high and increasing interest rates. Okay, but what about the supply side? We saw supply go down, standing inventory go down in condos. We also saw it go down in single family homes. Well, it went down in townhomes as well. Standing inventory fell 6.4% from 440 at the end of March of 2024 to the end of April, 412. We also saw inventory plummet by 27% year on year from 564 down to that 412. We've got just about 2 months worth of supply in the townhome space, similarly to what we have in the single family home space, and less than the 3 months of supply that we have in the condo space. Very challenging, right? It's one thing if this is November or December and we're lower on supply. A lot of even experienced people have been suggesting, both last year and this year, we'd start to see lots of supply come back into this market in the springtime. And I was saying, no, we're going to see demand rematerializing before supply. Clearly, that's what is taking place. Demand measures on all 3 subcategories of housing are going up, while supply inventory in all 3 categories has actually come down. We have other factors that are impacting supply in this marketplace. and they're noteworthy, they're important, and it's really critical that you actually understand that we are sitting in not just a low inventory environment, we're sitting in an environment that's likely to remain low in inventory for years and years to come, actually. So, all right, that's inventory, standing inventory. What about newly listed resale townhomes? Down 1.7% from 295 to 290. That's March to April of this year. Down at a time where new listings seasonally should absolutely be going up. The down is the only thing you need to know about it. And down sufficiently that we actually see overall inventory continue to be depleted. We are up 4.3% from the 278 newly listed that we saw in April of 2023 at 290. But again, remember, take those year-on-year comparisons with a significant grain of salt, because last year was a very unusual year with historically low transaction volume, causing a lot of displacement in the seller marketplace, if you will. We are actually comparable to 2013 levels, so 11 years ago in terms of the new into market for the townhome space. This is phenomenal, right? Las Vegas has grown in that period of time substantially, almost 500,000 more people, and that's still the kinds of numbers that we're looking at in townhomes. Okay, the one more statistic, back on market for townhomes, 89 contracts failed and the units went back into the market to be sold again. That was 31.1% of all contracts in the townhome market segment during the course of April actually failed. Extremely elevated, literally 3 times what this number should be, the 10 to 12% range that we've seen historically over generations of time. Make sure you're trying to find out from your agent, what is it that's driving this, and what can be done about it? Can one protect themselves if they're a buyer or as a seller? Can something be done to strengthen these contracts for you so that your contract does not collapse, so that you are successful in going through a real estate transaction and ending out on the other side, either owning the townhome that you wanted to own or having sold the townhome that you wanted to sell? Okay, so that's it for the multifamily or condo and townhome market update for April of 2024. I am Justin Miller with the Chong Miller Group. At the Chong Miller Group, we help people build wealth through real estate. We help people buy and sell homes, including condos and townhomes here in the Las Vegas Valley. I look forward to seeing your comments, hearing from you with any questions you have, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.